Nice verse, huh? Nice purport.
Nice, very big.
Huh? Did you read the purport of the Vilas?
Sorry?
Have you already read today's purport?
No,
No, it's
but I know something from.
Grihasta Ashram.
Yes.
Yeah, please. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजक अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद् एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजक अष्टोत्तर शत His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की प्रेम कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopiknath Radha Kund Shama Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham Ki, Mathura Dham Ki, Navadip Dham Ki, Jagannath Puri Dham Ki, Ganga Mai Ki, Yamuna Mai Ki, Tulsi Devi Ki, Bhakti Devi Ki, Sankirtan Yagya Ki, Samaveta Gaura Bhakta Vinda Ki, Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjalashalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utpadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavancha Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sayguna Raghunatam Titam Sadhuitam Sadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sayguna Lalita Shri Vishakanvitancha. Today we are reading from Canto 5, Chapter 13, Text 6. Kvachidvitoya sarito bhiyati parasparam chalashate nirandaha asadhyadavam kvachidagnitapto nirvidyate kvacha yakshairdhritasuhu. You would want to read, Prabhu? Mataji. Sarito bhiyati parasparam chalashate nirandaha asadhyadavam kvachidagnitapto nirvidyate kvacha yakshairdhritasuhu. Kvachit, sometimes, vitoyaha, without depth to the water, saritaha, rivers, abhiyati, he goes to bathe or jumps into, parasparama, one another, cha, and, alashate, desires, nirandaha, being with no stock of food, asadhya, experiencing, davam, a forest fire in family life, kvachit, sometimes, agni taptaha, burned by fire, nirvidyate, is disponent, kwa, somewhere, cha, and, yakshahi, by kings resembling rogues and thieves, Hrita, taken away. Asuhu, wealth, which is dear as one's life. Translation. Sometimes the conditioned soul jumps into a shallow river or being short of food grains. He goes to beg food from people who are not at all charitable. Sometimes he suffers from the burning heat of household life, which is like a forest fire, and sometimes he becomes sad to have his wealth, which is as dear as life, plundered by kings in the name of heavy income taxes. Purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. When one is hot due to scorching sun, one sometimes jump into a river to gain relief. However, if the river is almost dried up and the water is too shallow, one may break his bones by jumping in. The conditioned soul is always experiencing miserable conditions. Sometimes his efforts to get help from friends are exactly like jumping into a dry river. By such actions, he does not derive any benefit. He only breaks his bones. Sometimes, suffering from a shortage of food, one may go to a person who is neither able to give charity nor willing to do so. Sometimes one is stationed in household life, which is compared to a forest fire, samsara davanal loka, which when a man is heavily taxed by the government, he becomes very sad. Heavy taxation obliges one to hide his income. But despite his endeavor, the government agents are often so vigilant and strong that they take all the money anyway, and the conditioned soul becomes very grieved. Thus, people are trying to become happy within the material world, but this is like trying to be happy in forest fire. No one needs to go to a forest to set it ablaze. Fire takes place automatically. Similarly, no one wants to be unhappy in family life or worldly life, but by the laws of nature, unhappiness and distress are forced upon everyone. To become dependent on another's maintenance is very degrading. Therefore, according to the Vedic system, everyone should live independently. Only the Shudras are unable to live independently. They are obliged to serve someone for maintenance. It is said in the Shastras, Kalau Shudra Sambhava. In the age of Kali, everyone is dependent on another's mercy for the maintenance of the body. Therefore, everyone is classified as a Shudra. In the 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that in Kali Yuga, the government will levy taxes without reciprocally benefiting the citizens. Anavrishtya vinakshanti durbhiksha kara piditaha. In this age, there will also be a shortage of rain, therefore a scarcity of food will arise, and the citizens will be very much harassed by government taxation. In this way, the citizens will abandon their attempts to lead a peaceful life and will leave their homes and huts and go to the forest in sheer disappointment. Jai. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Parampara ki jai. Srila Prabhupada just predicted whole thing in this one purport, and we can practically relate it to us. Especially people here in West can relate the heavy tax system. This verse is very hidden, like full of hidden meaning, because the talk between King Rahugana and Jad Bharat Maharaj is happening here, who is in his like different birth and already realized because he remembers all his previous birth and activities. And how this conversation start is in previous verse we saw that how he was carrying the palanquin and he saved the Jivatmas getting killed by stepping on them. And then king became angry, and he started chastising him and then giving him all sort of vulgar words and like demeaning sentences. And then Jad Bharat Maharaj, because he's a self-realized soul, he didn't react. And then he started giving upadesh to him. And immediately, because the king Rahuguna had some sort of sukriti to respect Brahmanas, to respect Vaishnavas, and have some sort of spiritual like tendency there, so he immediately realized his mistake, that he has offended a great Vaishnava, and immediately asked for forgiveness. And when the forgiveness was asked, then only Jadvat Maharaj started instructing him into the real spiritual science. Here, this the question which arises here, like how a Jivatma is like in a shallow river. This and then there's a desire, and then he's going or she is going to like beg or ask for alms and going to a person who are not charitable. And then another thing, the ashram is considered as like forest fire. Even though people desire happiness, but they don't desire happiness, as Prabhupada said, it's like just an illusion. So these all 4 points are answered in next chapter. Especially if we go to 14th chapter, text 13. From there, the first answer, like the first question which is raised here, why Jivatma goes into shallow river, is answered there. And it specifically talks about Guru, like how you surrender to your Guru and have complete faith, and do not go to a, like Srila Prabhupada always puts pressure in this sentence, accept a bona fide spiritual master. Go to a spiritual master who will actually help you, not who will cheat you. So here the first thing is like do not approach imposters or people who will just cheat you in the name of bhakti, because bhakti is not limited by all these material things. It is far beyond all the spiritual things, and only a pure person who is representative of Krishna and Guru Parampara can impart that divine knowledge to us. Just the way Jad Bharat Maharaj, he was self-realized through his Guru's mercy, and then he imparted that knowledge to King Rahuguna. And the second part is we are having desires, and we go for asking for alms, like we need this, we need that. So there, when person goes into family life, because that's the most important ashram, a person has to be very much responsible with so many qualities and responsibilities. Some people are born with many qualities, so it's very easy for them to transition into Grihasta ashram. For some, it's a hard lesson. And there it is clearly mentioned that when children are there, children are the real teachers for Grihastha people, because they teach them so much humility and so much tolerance, which the other ashram don't do in a that effective way that Grihastha ashram happens there. The third one is the person who is in Grihastha ashram or anybody or in any ashram, they tend to become attached. Somebody may be in temple doing some service and they are attached to some things there, like maybe their room or their mattress or the prasadam, or they have their favorite plate or favorite spot where they take prasad. So here Srila Prabhupada writes very exactly like nobody should be attached to whatever they're doing. They should be only attached to the service they are performing for Sri Guru and Sri Bhagavan. The fourth point here, which talks about the taxes there, like Grihastha person, he works so hard tirelessly to provide for his family, and then some of it is used by his family, which he is very happy about, and some of it is used by the government, which he is not very happy about. So this is compared to like how after endeavoring so much, in the end it's like of no use. You had like some other expectation, but it turned out very different. And for more details, we can, devotees can read the 14th chapter very nicely, because in this chapter, all the instructions are just about to end, the divine instructions, and the real realization part starts from the next chapter. And here it's very nice, Sridhar Swami comments very nicely here, a very big paragraph. So I will read it as it is, because there's nothing I can add here. It's just perfect there. Sridhar Swami writes in commentary, when a person slips while walking on a moss-covered path, the body immediately experiences pain due to the fall, not because of any grain of water from the moss. Similarly, both in this world and the next, those who cause suffering to others are condemned as hypocrites. Those persons remain lazy, desires food and other things from hares or others without effort. In both cases, the same principle applies. Just like the forest fire, the household life gives sorrow. Having entered it, one is scorched by the fire of grief, becomes disillusioned, and sinks into despair. There too, a person becomes disheartened when their beloved wealth, earned by hard effort, is seized by kings who are like yakshas and rakshasas. It's very perfectly put here. I will come to this point because many devotees have questioned, like if Grihasta Ashram is so looked down upon, they are like compared it to forest fire, then why Grihasta Ashram exist in the first place then? Like shouldn't it be like everybody brahmachari and sannyasi, and then world will go on? Of course there are practical and common sense reasons why Grihasta Ashram exist, and it is answered in next purports and like other shastra very nicely. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also comments in similar way, and the different thing he points here is he puts importance of the truthful king here. Like if the king is nice, he will create an environment and put a genuine effort so devotees and Vaishnavas can thrive nicely. And if the king is like not very pious and spiritual, then the whole citizen suffer. And according to Parashara Smriti, there is a very nice example there. In a country, if the king is not pious, if he is not very favorable to Vaishnavas, he is destined to go to hell. So we know which countries' leaders are going to hell according to Shastra. If somebody is not favorable to devotional service, devotional life, devotees, that person is destined to go to hell. And now we come to the Varnashram system, which is talked about here, to be specific, Grihasta Ashram here. There are many samskars when a child is born. So one of the first sanskar after the child is born is Jat Karma Sanskar. So where they decide like according to your nature and qualities, if you will be Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra. It's very interesting to know, according to the Shastric definition, what are the basic qualities and characteristics of these four varnas. A Brahmana cannot ask for money. He is supposed to live on donation only. He cannot put like, this is my price. So if somebody is like doing yagyas and stuff, and he asked like, I will do yajna for 10,000 or something, or 500 francs or something like that. Then he's not performing his Brahminical duties very nicely. For a Kshatriya, he earns money through protecting and delivering the justice. So all the kings, that's why they were like mostly like Kshatriyas, and the devotees or people who impart divine knowledge, decision-making knowledge, they were Brahmanas. And then Vaishya is person who makes money, the legal money, appropriate money through some interest or through some percentage of profit. Not too much, not too less. Enough to sustain, which is under the Vedic window. And Shudra earn money when they work under somebody. So from the Vedic definition, it proves in another way also that everybody in this world is Shudra. Only the business owners are the Vaishya people, because they provide money to other people. And then the common peasants, workers, IT people, or anywhere you can think of, everybody is Shudra, because they are earning money, they are working on a salary, they are getting paid. And then another point here from a very beautiful Shastra, which is very important for all of us Gaudiyas, Hari Bhakti Vilas, where it is mentioned that in Kali Yuga, everybody is like a Shudra, because they don't get their samskars done nicely. There are no pure Brahmins left, because even they are not doing their rituals nicely and required duties nicely. So the only way where you can get nicely purified is by chanting the holy names and just surrendering to a spiritual master. These basic two things will take any devotee in a very higher realm and maybe make us closer to our destination. Another part, now we enter the ashram nicely here. It's very important that how Srila Prabhupada has delivered whole world very nicely. In Braj we see there are so many acharyas there. Like if we see like how Srila Prabhupada is very important, we see there are like so many acharyas. Even at Srila Prabhupada's time in Vrindavan, in Bengal, in Mathura, there were like so many contemporary acharyas there, and they were also very self-realized. So how Srila Prabhupada stand out there? It's very, from a Braj perspective, I would say like what Srila Prabhupada has to offer, because we have seen like so many more acharyas there. But none of the acharyas thought of going outside the boundaries of India, the boundaries of Bharatvarsha. And this is what mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like we do not discriminate based on birth, color, creed or anything. Everybody is eligible for liberation, everybody is eligible for Diksha, everybody is eligible to chant. And when you go to Gyan Margis or other philosophies and paths, they are very strict with the system that only certain specific people are eligible for liberation. Like if you are like Dvija, only then you are eligible for many things. If you are Shudra or you are woman, then you are not allowed to practice some things, and you have to take birth again and then come to this platform and then do the process. So it's and they quote their biased references to prove their point. And this point was very expertly refuted by Srila Prabhupada. Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki Jai. Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai ki Jai. Giriraj Maharaj ki Jai. And when we come to this Bhakti Marg, then all these restrictions are removed. You just have to surrender and you just have to be devotee. You just have to have love for Krishna. Through gradual process, you just reach the goal without any restrictions. And in householder life, why it is considered as an example here that it is a forest fire. In Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned that when we meditate upon the material object, when we contemplate upon material object, then a person develop attachment to that. And when that attachment happens, with that attachment, lust develops, and with that lust, anger arises. And when that, from that anger, then complete delusion arises, and from that delusion, bewilderment of memory happens. And when that memory is bewildered with the sense objects, and then the intelligence is lost. And when that intelligence is lost, we degrade ourselves from our constitutional position. And this can be applied for every ashram. And the first point where everything starts is dhyan, dhyayato. If our dhyan is like not pure, not very fixed, will fall in such a miserable situation, no matter how much experience we have in spiritual life, or for how many years we've been practicing this method of going back to Godhead. Still, like when our meditation and smaran is not nice, we fall down very bad. And we have seen like many even advanced devotees like doing something extraordinary, and then we start doubting like, what is this, like how it can happen. This certain devotees practicing for many years, and how this happened. That's why we have to be always careful in our spiritual life, because we are never advanced, we are never safe. Only when we are under shelter of devotees, under shelter of Guru, then only we are safe. Any sadhaka, he cannot be alone. Even sannyasis, they have to take shelter of like one type of Guru. Either it's like Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru, Shravan Guru, like they have to be under shelter. Is when you are alone, that's the point where the material energy attacks us in a way we cannot even imagine. And the consequences of that is we regret many things, many actions of us later. And it's very important that we study Shastra under a bona fide Guru, a person who is very learned in Shastra. Because Shastra has references for every ashram, every varna, and according to your mindset, you will find only references which are, very particular to your ashram, and they are very much uplifting and like putting, let's say, brahmacharya ashram on the top. Or if somebody has Grihasta mentality, they are keeping like Grihasta ashram on top. So that's why it's important that we study all these esoteric things under a spiritual master, a person who is very expert in Shastra, so he can guide us and we don't get confused, which is like topmost or which is most important for us or least important. In 11th canto, when Lord Krishna is giving very nice teaching to Uddhava, there he explains very nicely one ashram system. And there he gives very basic things which every ashram people and every varna people should follow. So it's non-violence, truthfulness, honesty, desire for happiness and welfare for others, and freedom from lust and anger and greed constitute duties of all members of society. Srila Prabhupada instructed everybody the basic things any devotee should do. Follow 4 regulative principles, chant minimum of 16 rounds, and read his books. Because he is Acharya, and Acharya is non-different to Shastra himself, which is mentioned in Chandogya Upanishad, Acharyavan Purusho Veda. He is not none other than the Shastra himself, the Vedas himself, because he impart the divine knowledge which has been existing since time immemorial, and now we are fortunate enough to receive that divine knowledge and improve our life. And the proper sequence of ashram starts from Brahmachari ashram. And in Brahmachari ashram, we have two lines. When a child is born, after all the samskars are done, then he's sent for Vidya Arambh to Gurukul or for training. And then the young man, young boy, they start learning all the basic life skills and getting trained in the Shastra. And there two lines happen. Either a person remains Naishtika Brahmachari, he remains Brahmachari always and transit to direct to renunciate order. Or another one is the another Brahmachari field is when it's Upakurvana Brahmachari who transit himself into Grihasta Ashram. So both lines exist. So according to the nature of a devotee, they can be in they can choose either of the line. Then it comes Grihastha ashram, which is very responsible ashram, because Grihasthas are the one who maintained most of the ashrams through donations, through hosting them, through worshipping the devotees, and bringing more devotees in life here in this material world. Then third one is Vanaprastha ashram. There devotees, when they come to a proper realization that we are here for a very specific goal. We are not here for sense enjoyment, or we are not here just to be with each other and attached to each other. Because in 11th canto, when Krishna is explaining the Grihastha ashram, he uses very heavy words there, like do not be attached to your wife, do not be attached to your children. All of these people are just temporary guests which you meet in this lifetime, and in next lifetime you don't know who they will be. And if a normal person with not much experience is reading this, we cannot make them understand, how can I be detached from my wife? I'm very much attracted to my wife. I like my wife very much. I want to serve her. I want to provide everything for her. So it's quite contradictory. Here, the acharyas have given a very nice, I would say, a hack, or how you can get out of this loophole. You must be a devotee. Your wife must be a devotee. And when both of them are devotee, you are serving each other. So indirectly you are doing a Vaishnava service to each other. You can be attached to each other in a way that everybody should be attached to devotee. If your wife is devotee, if your husband is devotee, so that attachment is not bad, because ultimately you are not seeing the body there, but you are seeing that this soul has come in my life, and this soul is helping me in my spiritual life. And same, the other side can also be used. The wife can think this, my husband, we are not this body, like Srila Prabhupada puts so much pressure on this. We are not this body, we are not this body. We are spirit soul. And the same knowledge was imparted by King Rauguna, to King Rauguna by Jad Bharat Maharaj, that you are seeing my body only, but you are not seeing my spirit soul. I am already self-realized, and you are just judging me by my body. And when we do this, we commit a severe aparadh. And Raja Raunguna realized that, and then he immediately asked for forgiveness. So when we are in this mood where we serve each other, the great service, either it's in your home or it's in temple, when the loving relationships are there in the devotee, then only we can realize the real love, the prema we aspire for. And in Parasara Smriti it is said the biggest activity or you can do in Kali Yuga is charity, which is very important, and charity in every way. And Mahaprabhu, he came in this material world, he appeared in this material world, and he opened the marketplace of holy name there. He did the charity of holy names, which is the highest we can do here. That's why everybody should engage in directly or indirectly in service to holy names. Another reference is given in Parashara Smriti very nicely, that a person gets sinful reaction if there is holy names of Hari are being sung, or Kirtan is happening, or Hari Katha is happening. If somebody doesn't pay obeisances there, or doesn't sit for some time, he gets sinful reaction for that. So, if we see Hari Bhakti Vilas, it's full of rules and regulation, and as a aspiring Vaishnava, as a, walking the path of Vaishnava, trying to be Vaishnava, we should try our best to follow as many as possible in practicality, because that way we will save ourselves from having sinful activities, because we are not knowledgeable enough. We don't know how many things are in Shastra that we are getting sinful reaction for. So we should just assume that 24 hours 7 we are committing some aparad, intentionally or unintentionally. That's why holy name, which is Sarva Papa Pranashanam, we should always try to aspire to chant all the time. If we cannot put our hands in the bead bag, which should be like very fixed chanting, focused chanting, after your hands are out of bead bag, we should try to chant all the time, or just time to time have Smaran about holy name, because that way we can avoid just one syllable. The one holy name can remove our previous sins. So just imagine every time you are doing holy name, some sin are getting removed. But at the same time, we should remember where Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains in Harinam Chintamani, and very in detail he explains the 3 stages of holy name we can do, and we should not have this mood that I'm chanting this holy name just to get rid of my sins. But we are chanting holy name just to purify ourselves, that we can get recognition from Krishna that we exist. We are aspiring for your lotus feet service. Please allow us. And coming back to the Vanaprastha ashram, it is the most sophisticated ashram, and very hard for many of us to understand, especially me, being a simple bhakta. I cannot comment on the Vanaprastha ashram, but we have dear devotee Mukunda Datta Prabhu. He is a very nice devotee. He can elaborate on it very nicely. And then Sannyasa ashram. It's one of the most dangerous ashram, because there all the responsibilities of the society come on the sannyasis, because they have to guide all the devotees. The best situation which was followed in ancient times, people used to go to all 4 ashrams sequentially, so the sannyasis could nicely help everybody with all the ashram challenges and difficulties. And now it's because some places it's like a transition happened directly, somewhere it happens sequentially. So it depends on the intellect of the devotee and experience, and gravity of that devotee, how he can help the other devotees. In the end, Seva Paramo Dharma, the main dharma one can do is service. And we should always aspire for service to Lord, service to Shastra, service to devotees, and service to our sampradaya. And for us, ISKCON is our sampradaya. If we really love Srila Prabhupada, we should always aspire directly, indirectly. We help and we use our mental capabilities, physical capabilities to serve Srila Prabhupada. Because if we please the Acharya, we have pleased the Lord. And I will take my end here. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaved Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Any comments and suggestions, corrections, dear devotees? Yes, Mataji.
Thank you so much for your wonderful lecture. I'm wondering your opinion on the Varnashram system, like how we should really follow, because you mentioned that the brahmanas, they actually don't accept any Lakshmi. If you do your automatically come to the platform of Shuddha. And also in Bhagavatam, I think this is the most it describes which ashram is supposed to be.
Mhm.
And then it was like the 4 ashrams, and then it was described what women should do. So, would you think that it's like another category, or is it also like every woman does have an ashram in that sense, and how deeply we have to follow?
There can be two perspectives to this. One is very extreme ancient perspective, and one is very modern liberal perspective, which is more practical in nowadays. The old one is the Prabhu get trained very nicely according to his nature and qualities. And then he is prepared for entering into Grihasta Ashram in a Gurukul through parents. And Mataji get trained also in proper education through mothers and relatives. And when the important part there again is focused on service. Because nowadays this service mode is little lacking, because everybody wants independence. And we should remember that we can never be independent. Independence is a road to fall down. And it's for both. People say, oh, Grihasta Ashram, I'm not under a temple authority, or I'm not under my guru, or this, that. But we should understand the husband is under authority of wife, and wife is under authority of husband. Like they are serving each other, so they have to cooperate with each other. In Sannyasa Ashram, you can be under shelter of your guru or under shelter of your senior godbrothers. And brahmachari, you can be under shelter of temple or your senior brahmacharis or sannyasis. And in vanaprastha, you are under shelter of, again, like more senior devotees to you. So there, the service part is so much important. And in 7th canto and 11th canto, more or less same things are mentioned, just in different light and different depth, and according to the intelligence of devotee and their inclination, which ashram inclination they have, they grasp that particular thing more. That's why previously I explained, when we study Shastra, we should not be very independent about that. Srila Prabhupada works, oh, I started just reading it like that. For every doubt in session, we should always have an expert devotee who can help us. Otherwise, these kind of situation will come, like how it is different, how that is different. And we become confused about the ashram differentiation and their proper levels. Like Krishna says, the Grihasta ashram comes from my like loin area, and the sannyasis are on his head, and one of the ashram is like from heart. So this way we have to understand and not categorize into like which ashram is high or which is low, but have a mutual respect for every ashram, because they cannot function independently. There has to be cooperation between all ashram. Then only the society functions properly. Did I answer or should I add more, Mataji?
You can add more. The answer was very fruitful.
Yeah.
Difficult question, good answer.
True. Jay, clear. So no more questions and everybody is satisfied. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यो पावन्यो वैष्णव नमो नमः।